October 1st, 2023, C-170B Don wanted a Sea Fury walk around of the new airplane. So maybe this will be the first in a series. So Don, here you go. No idea what I'm going to talk about as per my standard. Didn't prep any of it. But so in the restoration, and maybe this isn't a different discussion, but the restoration was getting the big parts and then starting to put them together and then finding all the little parts. So as I stand here, would say the wings came from Mike Brown. Those got traded for the short wings, and that he ran on 232 and won the races one year. And the engine went off to the Rare Bear guys, and they won with that engine one year, maybe the last year. And otherwise, it was all about procuring the stock pieces. So I was going to go that way, but let's go this way. We had the gear doors. I assume they're the same ones that we bellied in with. Well, they got bellied in when we bought the airplane back in 1990 and rebuilt at least once, maybe twice or three times, God only knows. But things like we didn't have long ailerons, so Ken was able to procure those looking around the world. None of this stuff was here. In the yellow, these are all where the gun bays go. The guns go in those blisters because they're too thick for the wing at that point. So they put some blisters there. And then the panels just come off. All the yellow panels just come off to access them. And the other ones up top you can see with the fasteners. That's where the gun, I think the gun, what do you call those? The bullets, the 9 yards of bullets. Give them the whole 9 yards. They go. And underneath, we should find, if I'm not mistaken, the holes. So these are on the bottom side of those blisters, and this is the eject points for the spent shell casings. Once a bullet gets fired, the spent shell casing comes out the bottom. And if you ever look at the old World War II gun footage, when somebody's chasing somebody else, like a wingman, and you see the stream of casings, empty casings coming out the bottom of the airplane, it's pretty cool. So what else? Stock 3350-26WD. I think it's rated at 27-ish 100 horsepower with water. We don't run it that much. I think 2200-ish for takeoff. The gill doors are fixed, and they don't move like they used to with the Centaurus. There's 9 individual stacks now. When we had the big motor on it, the race motor, we had 4 stacks on, let me think about that, right rudder for torque. So you had 4 stacks on the right side, 5 stacks on the left side. And Dave Cornell said that it was, I think, 580 pounds of thrust out of those stacks at race power. The wing fillets here that joins the fuselage and the wing, those are all new, manufactured by Angel at the sander shop. We have the set that was on the airplane, but they were just hammered. And so they're still in the hangar, but just wanted to go with new ones for the new airplane. What else interesting? Had to, of course, get the bubbles, and I think Carl Scholl blew the bubbles for us. They had the molds already, so he blew some bubbles for us, and then Ken took the blanks, put them into the frames. Although, you know, that rear one looks a tint yellow, a little bit tinted yellow from my vantage point. So it may be a stocker that he polished up. I know that new one, that center tunnel is beautiful and brand new, and as is the front bubble. So anyway, who knows? I don't know about the glass in the front, the bulletproof glass up front. Not sure. I suspect that's just new old stock, but not sure. There's a jettison pull to release, and what that does, I think, is it allows you to basically jettison the sliding bubbles, which you can't jettison with no air loads on them. In the cockpit there's a handle, and you pull those, the rails move a little bit, and then they will depart the airplane. As if you remember, who it was Riff Raff a couple years ago with Kurt Brown flying it? No, Sawbones. That the canopy came off, and that's because those rails came off as if it were jettisoned. because they had it rigged slightly backwards or just a tick off, and they came out and he lost the bubble. That's my understanding anyway. Anyway, so I think those cables pull that on the ground. I'm not sure how that helps the fire and rescue people get that thing apart, but whatever, there must be a theory there. Bought a new old stock tail from Australia, bolted it on just behind the yellow stripe. There's a bunch of bolts there, and you can just unbolt the tail and the whole thing falls off, minus the cables, of course. They're holding it together. This is the original horizontal stab from Critical Mass, and I think this one has a patch, a leading edge patch here. Had a much smaller one from when the part of the cowling came through and hit it. So the horizontal was shortened. It was taken off here. I think this is the difference between a mark. I could be wrong. I'm not going to go there. This airplane, this horizontal stab as we had it from the Leveler guys, did not have this extra bow piece around the end. It just had a fiberglass cap on the end, and then they had cut off the elevators and put a fiberglass cap on that too. So we got Dennis Sanders had the originals, so literally the ones off of this airplane. So we got those stringers and everything, and Angel made the rest. Angel had to make this piece in the bottom on his English wheel because it's not flat. And he just zips it up like an unbelievable professional on the English wheel and makes it up. And we are approaching, how many, 6-7 minutes, so I'm going to shut this thing off here, but had the new vertical. The rudder ours was big ass and square, right? And orange. So it wasn't going to work on this airplane. And apparently rudders are hard to come by. So Ken was able to trade Dennis. Maybe he got another one from somebody in the world. And he ended up trading ours, which was in dire need of an overhaul, of course, because it's the wrong shape. Most of it's there, but it just needs Dennis's special work. And was able to trade him for maybe as part of the seat trade, because he couldn't get seats for these things and they made new production ones. So it was all about having trading stock in order to not have to try to pay cash for everything, which was just prohibitive for sure. And okay, that's the update from the right side of the airplane on October 1st. Cheers.